I would like to start this video by reading to you a letter I received on August 7th, 2023. Well, it's dated August 7th, 2023. I received it a little later, but it's from the office of the Provincial Superior of the Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter, North American Province. And you can see here, this is the copy of the letter I'll be reading from. So it's yeah, I'll just go through it here. Dear Mr. Spurgeon, and its headline read Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter's slash Father Philip Wolf. Dear Mr. Spurgeon, please be advised that I serve as the provincial of the North American province of the Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter. And then there's brackets and the word fraternity is in quotes. I'm not exactly sure why. I issue this letter in follow-up to your email dated July 19th, 2023, and your telephonic interview on July 27th, 2023 by the Noonan Group, which is an investigative service used by the fraternity to review issues such as those raised in your email. I would like to thank you for your willingness to participate in the interview and for the additional information that you provided during said process. In direct response to an issue raised by you during said interview, you will note that Father Wolf is not in active public ministry. Therefore, he does not have faculties to preach or hear confessions. Accordingly, please be assured that the fraternity takes such matters as raised in your email and interview seriously. Therefore, if you have any additional information to provide to the fraternity, please do not hesitate to contact our provincial headquarters. I will pray for you. Respectfully yours, Very Reverend William Lawrence, Provincial, North American Province, Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter. So, the Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter can be contacted easily to verify the authenticity of this letter. And this letter is in reference to events and things I mentioned in I've mentioned before many times. But this is just official documentation of everything I've been saying, and my experience with this priest in particular that began all of this and began my well the experience that traumatized me and led me um ultimately out of the Catholic Church. I have no doubt I basically no doubt. I mean, who knows? But I'm fairly certain I'd still be still be a Catholic if it wasn't for him. And I'm doing this video mainly because I want to be done talking about him. He hurt me more than any person on this planet. Um, and I still hate him on a deep level, but I don't want hate in my heart, in my soul. I don't want that kind of poison in me, that kind of destructive poison. And so it's something I can't help right now. I'm working someday to work through it as best I can. But I wanted to also acknowledge that the fraternity of St. Peter addressed my concerns. They didn't invalidate what I had to say, and they conducted an investigation. They hired a private investigator who I spoke with. Ultimately, from what I understand, their decision was he had already been suspended for misbehavior, and they're going to continue keeping him suspended, from what I can understand. And I'm grateful for that because my main concern back last year when I contacted them was I didn't want him around children anymore. And in the capacity of a priest, as far as I know, he won't be. And I deeply hope the Fraternity of St. Peter understands that. I personally wish that he would just be laicized and spit out like a bad uh like a bad tasting meal. I don't know. I was trying to come up with a clever end to that, and I screwed it up. But I'm gonna press on here. Um, you could say spit him out like Brussels sprouts or broccoli, even though I like both of those things. I don't know. Point being, I wish they would have laicized him, personally. I still think it's the right thing for them to do, but I'm happy with the fact that they have removed him, or they have that they listened to me, they conducted an investigation, and with all of this out there now, I think they'd be crazy to put him back in any kind of public ministry. So I wanted to address that and emphasize that and provide this official documentation and read it to you to make all of this clear. I had thought before about making some kind of video, a longer form video with a whole bunch of audio clips of Wolf put in there to emphasize, his craziness, to demonstrate um, just the insanity of this person, and understand the destructive effects that his words and his his general aura and his general messaging had on people, especially young children like me. Again, let me emphasize and make it absolutely clear: this the sexual abuse I'm accusing him of does not involve anything physical in nature. It involves emotional, psychological manipulation related to sexual orientation and sexual identity. It took me a long time to see his actions as abusive because of this fact. And I've received some pushback or some issue with people categorizing this to some degree, categorizing this as sexual abuse, and I understand that. I really do. And but professionals, have professionals in the mental health field that I've worked with and interacted with and have gotten treatment from, have categorized what happened to me as sexual abuse despite no physical contact. And it's really and also that kind of abuse did happen to me also when I was younger, as well, but it was not by a priest, and it's a whole other issue there. But I've decided that I, I want to I want to move on, or I want to be done with going into great detail or discussing at any length specifically the abuse he did to me, because it requires nuance, it requires delicate language and a balanced approach, and that requires more time and effort uh, to dissect this kind of thing. But at the same time, because it takes that required time and effort, it's all the more difficult and painful to remember and go through. And I think he's, in a way, you could say, I just wanted him kind of safely locked away, or safely out of the picture, safely removed from power in any way. And it's hard to convey exactly how much power he had back then. And if you can, there's websites, YouTube channels like Sensus Fidelium that continue to proudly host a library of all of his sermons. They're not labeled as such by him, but I know his voice, and I can attach a link to a couple of the Sensus Fidelius Wolf sermons so you can hear his voice, and so you can understand. If you were to go through their library, which I don't recommend, if you were to go through their library, you would quickly determine everything that's said by him. he didn't come out of a vacuum, and things he has and things he said and instructions he gave were mirrored by many and repeated by many in traditional Catholic world and culture. And some of the abusive practices that Wolf prescribed and encouraged were he got from canonized saints of the Catholic Church. So he is my abuser, but he did not come out of a vacuum, like I said. He did not. He is in my estimation almost a perfect product of the traditional Catholic milieu, environment, cultural momentum. Even though he's been put aside, set aside by them and sort of muzzled, thankfully, I still believe that he represents perfectly the the ultimate end of the world of traditional Catholic, the mindset where it leads. He's the perfect product of it. And you can see comment after comment in these sermons of his on Sensus Fidelium, nonstop. Oh, he's amazing. He's transformed me. He's so wonderful. He says it like it is. He's so tough. We need more priests like this. He was a rock star, if that could be even considered a thing in the Tradcath world. I remember how his word was law and how respected he was and how loved he was. He was feared, but but again, that's currency to them. If you're if you're if you're speaking about these traditional Catholics beliefs and you're kind of animated and you're intense, that's good in there. Intensity is almost good for its own sake. They think that, yes, he's a fighter, he's a warrior. The culture is militant, right? It's aggressive. It's about imposing your will in a frankly destructive way, and he embodied that. Yet at the same time, he'd have breakdowns. He'd start crying. Was not in control of his emotions. He's this emotionally stable guy, just screaming and yelling in front of all these kids. But in the confessional, he could be super gentle and super saying these abusive things still, but in a more gentle way. It was just so abusive, so toxic. Um, he damaged me so much, but I want to move on from him. And going forward, I want to um, discuss more why he came to be, how this culture created creates people like him, and how there's a pattern of people like him, people who you know get this following, get this support around them for being seen as intense warriors, as leaders, as leading troops into battle, as being controversial, but necessarily so, and being intense, and then it fizzles out, it burns out. They screw up and they disappear and they're gone, and all their followers are left confused and hurt. It's happened with Wolf. It's happened with priests like Karapi and Altman, and lay people like Michael Voris. So that's more of the focus I want to be on going forward. And I don't know if you heard my Cocker Spaniel Bucky there in the background, but he's been chilling on the couch this whole time, and he just got up, and I think he wants me to let him out. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna put my attention more to my dog now. My dog Bucky, as opposed to this as opposed to Wolf, as opposed to the wolf in shepherd's clothing that hypnotized the people around me during my time in high school. Um, a lot of people I interacted with then have, I'm coming, Bucky, I'm coming. I know, I'm coming. I've got to sign off to the folks here. A lot of people I was around at the time have apologized to me and recognized how damaging and destructive he was. But in the moment, while, you know, his presence was kind of overwhelming and intense, and people were kind of hypnotized by him. And with distance and time, they've understood how crazy he was. But so many other people right now in churches like this, in traditional Catholic churches run by the FSSP, run by the SSPX, are in the thrall of priests just like him, who haven't been, removed yet, who haven't been silenced yet. It's only a matter of time before they fizzle out just like the rest of them have. So, thank you for all your support, and I hope all you dragons of victory will continue to fly away to victory with me. Thank you.